Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel as I continue to give you the best and the most high quality content there is. So today we're going to talk about what you are actually willing to struggle for. And the reason why I said it this way is because there was a quote by Mark Manson that said, "What pain are you willing to struggle for?" You see, to put things into context and to put things in that way is truly, truly, truly a different perspective in how you view things. You see, I didn't necessarily grow up with a lot of stuff. And so materialism and items like that were never truly appealing to me. I saw how people fawned over certain items, certain things, but to me, it was just that. It was just things. And understanding that things don't truly have any value, but what you put into it is what shifted my mind into what was more valuable, which was the actual money used to purchase those things. You see, no matter what it is in this world, enough money will give you the power to purchase that item. Therefore, a thing or an item or even an asset has a number, it has a value. And so when I talk about opportunity and the cost of opportunity, the more money you have, the more opportunities you will have. So what are you willing to struggle for? You see, everyone wants to say that they're different. Everyone wants to say that they're not the same. Everybody's life is different. Everyone's struggle is different. But the truth is, you will determine what struggle is worth it for you. And if you value that said thing enough to implement it, then you will make things happen. For me, I valued the fact that I wanted to create a secure and a rich and promising life for my future family. Because of that, I had to put in additional work. I had to work longer hours. I had to struggle to where I felt pain. I felt hardship. I had nothing. And I had nothing for so long. I had nothing for about 17 years of my life. And so from a young age, I knew what it was like to not have the latest and greatest kicks. I knew what it was like to not be able to get the newest PlayStation or Xbox. I knew what it was like to not have money on school trips and have a packed lunch. And so when it was time for me to say, oh, it's time to save money, oh, this is the first time I'm able to grab onto something, I took advantage of that and I cherished it. Most people wouldn't because they're so used to spending it. And so the learning curve for me was absolutely different than the learning curve for most people. So from there, I already knew the value of saving money. I already knew what was worth spending money on and what wasn't. And so I would willingly throw 30, 40, $50,000 on a property. But I'd be so reluctant to spend $500 on a pair of sneakers. You see, the mindset I can easily gloat and say is different, but in reality is just what are you willing to struggle for? No matter how much you know, no matter how smart you are, if you feel that the sneakers are more important and that is what you're going to struggle for, it's not a hard struggle to get $500. It's in fact very easy. And so the effort is nothing, it's very minimal. The opportunity is great for you. To me, the opportunity is very low. In fact, it's not an opportunity at all, it's very negative. And so the way I look at it is I see a depreciating asset where you see value, right? Everyone values the houses, everyone values the stocks. but they're not. How much do they value it? Do they value it as much as I do? Do they value it as much as you who are watching my channel? You have to focus on yourself. You have to identify what do you value. You see, today I decided to take my health into consideration. No more sweets, no more sugar. Cut all of that out. I just left working for 10 plus hours, hit the gym for another 2 hours, and now I'm here creating content for you. Why is that? Why am I not just taking it easy, going on a nap? The opportunity cost of me producing this one video, whether it gets 1 view, 5 views, 10 views, 100 views, is also that you get the content that you deserve. You deserve to hear this. You deserve to understand that what you're willing to struggle for, what you're willing to suffer through, what you're willing to endure, the pain that you're willing to take in is the outcome that you will get from that. You know what you will get if you put in the work, if you put in the time, if you put in the effort. I know personally all the saving I do. I can purchase X, Y, and Z. I can buy X, Y, and Z. I could buy this Ferrari. I can buy this Bugatti, whatever it is that I want. But is that an opportunity or is it a negative for me? Is it going to cost me money every month, more money than I'm willing to spend? Or is it going to add to my life and allow me to continue to build on what I have? Is all I struggled for that one item, the 2, 3, 4 years of accumulating this wealth and building up my life, is it for that 1 or 2 items, or is it for something greater? Will I utilize this to improve on everything that I have? You see, I look at a holistic point of view, what my whole life should look like, how this will derail me or how this will accelerate me even just a little bit. You see, the acceleration always seems so simple and so small, but in reality is very, very fast and is unmatched. You see, no one could have told me that I would have had as much money as I have in a year's time. Every time, and I'm so good with numbers, I'm always calculating the numbers, I'm always crunching the numbers, but I'm always falling short of the numbers because the numbers always exceed what I have planned. And you know why that is? It's because of compound interest. I'll be expecting to make an extra $10,000, instead I make 20. I'll be expecting to make an extra $30,000, instead I make 40. I'll be expecting to make an extra $2,000, instead I make $3,500. And it continues and it continues and it continues and it continues. And I keep looking at the numbers and I'm like, I know I calculated this right. I know I crunched the numbers, but it's the compound interest. It's the little increase in the stock market. It's the buying when it's low. It's all those little things that just accelerate my growth year over year over year over year. I thought it was going to take me until December to reach my year goals. We're in November. I've already reached my goals for the year. Now I have to create new ones. It's a great feeling to have. It's a great feeling to have knowing that I'm always on top of things. It's a great feeling to have knowing that I'm accelerating my life to the point where I have to make new goals, new expectations, new ladders to climb. Before it was 6,000 to save, now it's 10. Then it's 20. Then it's 40. Then it's 50. And so it's always going to be harder to reach that goal, but you, at the end of the day, will reach it because you know what you're capable of. You know what you're struggling for. You know what you're working towards. And I know that there's others who are doing it at a bigger and better level. There was a property that I wanted to buy for $300,000 flat. $300,000 flat. I wasn't playing any games. It was a triplex, $300,000 flat. I knew that it was going to go for much more than that. I'm going to give you a minute, just a little bit of time, 10 seconds maybe, to write in the comment section down below how much you think it sold for. Again, I was going to pay the asking price, $300,000. How much do you think it sold for? I'll wait. I want to see what you actually think the Columbus market is going for right now on a triplex. Okay? The answer is, giving you some time. Pause the video if you haven't wrote your answer yet. $450,000. I've never seen a jump like that. Now, obviously, it's an investment. That's why they paid so much for it. It's a triplex. It's nice. It's actually in my neighborhood, so I know it's really nice. And listen, a single family house is almost going for 300,000 in my neighborhood. So they must have been playing games with me, because obviously I'm going to take a deal for 300,000 when a single family is almost going for that in my neighborhood. So, I mean, when someone is willing to pay 450,000, it does make some sense of why they would do that, because they already got two people paying on two other units. What is the cost to take on just that one additional $150,000 when you're literally paying $300K for yourself, and that extra 150, two people are paying that for you. You're not reliant on one tenant. So I completely understand that. I completely understand that we're going to go into a depressed market where prices will drop a little bit. But in 10 years from now, that property is going to be worth way more than 450,000, because even the regular properties will be going for 450,000. So a triplex now, we're talking 700, 800,000, right? And so in 10 years from now, if this person is a long-term investor, we're looking at a massive haul. And so when I was looking at this property and I'm like, oh, 300, let me go ahead and get this. That property was my ticket. It was a ticket for me. If I could have gotten it at that price, it was a ticket. And I'm telling you, it wasn't even on the market for 3 hours when I bidded on it. Full asking price. Not even for 3 hours. That means everyone is hungry. That means everyone is looking to not struggle. That means everyone was putting in pain. Everyone was working. Everyone was at work, coming home after a nice workout, just like me, to produce and add value. What are you willing to struggle for? How does that benefit your life? Whether it's traveling, experiencing things, becoming more knowledgeable. Whether it's reading a book, becoming more knowledgeable. Whether it's pouring into others. Whether it's adding value in multiple ways. It's not all about the money, but you came to this channel for the finance, so that's what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you the keys. I'm going to let you understand what success is about. You have to define for yourself what you are willing to endure for this pain. So I'm going to give you a story now, because that's what you're here for. You're here to get the truth. You're here to understand where I'm coming from. When I was growing up, I had nothing. I wasn't going to go to prom my high school year. I wasn't going to go anywhere, to be honest. I couldn't afford football cleats some years when I was playing sports. I couldn't afford to go on and do most things. Going to my senior trip was the only expense that I personally had to save up for, to pay for, and that was, thank goodness that in New York you had summer youth. So I kept that money and I kept it in the tuck just for that day. Now, if I had lived in a place like Ohio, if I had lived in a more slow area where kids can actually get a job and start working at 16 and not be hindered by New York City living, where literally a child can't get a job. I couldn't get a job in New York. And best believe I tried, because at this point now, I'm hardworking. At this point now, I still to this day, when I apply for certain jobs and positions, I'll put out 100 applications. I'll put out 100 applications because when I was first getting started, it was never about the work-life balance. It was never about the the job itself. It was about how much are you going to pay me? How many hours do you want me to work? And I didn't care how many hours I worked. And that's why I really got these jobs. That's why I was in the positions I was. When Amazon hired me to become an area manager, I didn't care if I worked 7 days a week. Starting salary $50,000 with $50,000 in bonuses. Okay, over a 5-year period. Plus you get a increase every year, whatever. I was 22, maybe, with my first salary job. Leave that, I'm at Tim Hortons. You got bonuses at Tim Hortons. You got a $53,000 a year salary. You eat for free, but you live there now. I'm working way more than I did at Amazon. I literally keep the lights on because when people didn't show up during COVID, guess who had to open that door? When my manager forgot their keys because it was a bad area, guess who had to drive down to open the door for them? When people decided to fight, not show up to work, were angry or upset, guess who had to lower the temperature in the room with no sleep, super tired, exhausted, living off of fast food? That was me. But you know what that allowed me to do every single day when you work, put in the pain and struggle? It allowed me to buy my first property. That first property was no more than 3 times my income, $140,000. And yes, I actually cut down the cost of that property from $145 to $140, and then I still got $3,000 back at closing. That's all negotiation. But understand, you make money when you buy, not when you sell. So I took $5,000 off right away. Then I got $3,000 back at closing for the foundation. It was already repaired, already renovated, already beautiful, good to go. And then I started making money right away when I rented it out. So you got to understand, also being able to communicate, also being able to negotiate, also being able to tell people what you're worth and then demonstrate it is very important. You see, it is fair to say that I was being taken advantage of as a manager. It is fair to say that. If I was to say that I am the most smart person in the world because I worked 7 days a week, at least 50 hours, and that was the minimum that you could do was 50 hours a week. So trust me, I was doing more. Imagine making $53,000 a year but working more than 50 hours a week. A lot of people make $13 an hour for the amount of hours that we truly work in these restaurant industries. So, and there was a job that I passed up where at the time I could have made $25 an hour, but instead I was going for the $60,000 salary a year and then $65,000, and so, again, chasing that money, chasing whatever I was chasing. I got this house with no more than a $20 an hour salary, but I was doing 50 hours a week. I was on hourly though this time, so it made things a lot more better. I knew that when I worked, I was going to get paid, and that's probably like $60,000 a year or something around that ballpark when I purchased this property. And so I say all that to say, like, you gotta understand that you're never going to provide more value than what you're getting paid. Unless you're literally an investor in the company, and then even then you're providing a different type of value. So I understood that when I went into the interview and I told them I'm single with no kids and that I am willing to work every single day, I have no days off, no religious requirements, none of that stuff. What did I know that they thought and what they think is that this person is going to be there every single day, willing to do what it is that they need to do. This person has already worked in several industries. This person already has managed several people. This person is a great communicator and is very articulate. This person is going to do well for me. And I need someone with this type of brain power because that is not typical in the restaurant industry. And so I already knew from day one that it was all smiles when it was time to sign the contract. But after that, it would be, hello, hello. I can't call my boss, can't call anyone above me. It was me who had to man that facility, man that store, make sure it's operational, make sure that money is being made, right? And the only thing that they're checking for is how many sales are we getting every single day. They're looking at their laptop or computer, and all they want to know is that the register is open and that money is being made. That's it, right? My boss would prefer to not call me, period. And that's what any restaurant company that I've ever worked for. You're just there to do the job. And that's perfectly fine. Like, it's understood at that point. But just understand that when you decide to struggle, when you decide to go through pain, real pain, when you decide to give up your life 7 days a week, some people have done it for 20 years. You need to understand how you can benefit from that. You need to understand what you can do to benefit from that. Because what I can tell you right now is if you're just going to work like that and not reap any reward, not reap any benefit, no matter where you live, from New York, LA, doesn't matter. If you're just working to work, there's no reason to kill yourself over that. There's no reason to. If you just look for the highest paying job, but you're not investing anything, you're not putting any money aside, you're not saving for a rainy day, you're not looking to purchase assets, what is the struggle all for? Now, that's my perspective. You may have a different perspective. It may be to go on that vacation, but trust me, there's not many vacations in the restaurant industry. And again, that's just one industry. So you have to choose your poison wisely. Now, you may have $100,000 job per year and you still have weekends off or something like that. And for whatever reason, you live paycheck to paycheck because of lifestyle creep. You might not think it's lifestyle creep because you've always lived that way. But I promise you, if you had $50,000 a year, you would be able to live off $50,000 a year. Therefore, your life has adjusted to the type of money you make. And that is what lifestyle creep is, when it continues to adjust with how much money you make. Therefore, what I would say is, if that is the case, you need to get a second job. And when you get that second job, none of the money from the second job should go towards anything that you do in your life already, unless it involves saving and investing. That money should not be touched for anything outside of saving and investing, no matter what the circumstances are. Because if you didn't have the second job, you would still be living off your first job, and only that. That's why I encourage everyone that if you do have a lot of time to yourself, get a second job, open up a separate account, and never touch it for any reason outside of saving and investing. That will help those who don't know how to help themselves. If you don't know how to help yourself, that is a strategy that you can utilize. Another thing that you can do is set up a 401k and promise yourself that you will never touch it. 401k, Roth IRA, whatever it is, never touch it. Put your percentage down, never touch it. A lot of people just look at it, you see the money growing, and then one day you automatically want to get a piece. You automatically want to get a part of it. And people will tell me, they'll swear up and down that they can never save. You can never save because you see the money. But when your company was putting that money in your account without you, oh, you were doing just fine. You were able to ride it out. But as soon as you knew you had that money, there was something missing, something you needed to have right now. It wasn't there. You see how life works? As soon as you know you have something, you find ways to spend it. And so me growing up without much, I understood that no matter how much I have, it's not worth how much I've worked for this. And that's why my mindset is so different. That's why my struggle, my pain is always going towards something of value and not something that you might think is valuable, but something that will actually make me more valuable as a person long term and moving forward. And so if you like this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You know I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily on YouTube and on Rumble. And I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.